Hello, I'm Mark Baer. I'm with Jane Parker, 4th District County Supervisor. I got that without stumbling over it.
Well
I'm very
done.
happy with that. Yeah. Okay, so where are we in the world here?
We being sort of the central coast of California.
Yeah.
Well, this is really an exceptional area. I like to say that we are a world-class area. I mean, people come here from all over the world, and they come for a lot of reasons. Initially, they may come for the scenery. Some people come here and then want to relocate because of education, the world-class education, the arts. We have obviously the scenery. We've got some of the most innovative agriculture in the world. We have actually currently we have development opportunities on the former Fort Ord that are an opportunity to show world-class access to trails with our national monument and mixed-use walkable communities. And we have an incredibly diverse population. So it's really an area that has so many elements that are super high quality, very interesting to work with, and of course it's a fabulous place to live.
It's a great place to live, and again, it's a very smart place to live. The Naval Postgraduate School is here,
Exactly.
MISS is here, the Defense Language Institute is here, CSUMB is becoming a real force, and everybody is accessible because of the easy geography. You can get to somebody.
Right.
People do communicate here. So it's a fabulous place, and I also find it a very civilized place, and I find local politics to be, given the nature of politics, to be on a pretty high level.
I find, even in campaigns, which is where some of the rhetoric gets a little more heated, we are usually talking about the issues and our views about how to approach them. And I really like the local level of government because we are engaging on issues that impact people's quality of life. I like to say that if at the county level we're doing our jobs well, we are making life better for people. And if we don't do our jobs well, we're actually being a pain in people's necks. So what we do really matters in the lives of people every day. And when you're having local conversations, whether it's about whether we want fracking or how we want to approach supporting families and youth in our communities, the consequences are pretty immediate and real and tangible, and you can really build networks of people to work on these issues with.
Let's talk about the new board.
Sure. Yes. So on our Board of Supervisors this year in 2017, we have 2 new members. When you have only 5 people on a board, when you get 2 new ones, it really changes things. And so it's been very interesting and energizing, really, to have these fresh people. They're not really new to the community or to politics. Mary Adams has been long involved in the community in health and human services issues, and she has really United Way, yes. Exactly. And so she's been working with community members, working on community issues for a number of years, and she has stepped into the chairship of the Board of Supervisors on her first day, basically, and really has a very strong leadership style. So she's really been a great addition to the board. And Luis Alejo, as we know, has been an assembly member, and he was on the Watsonville City Council, I think, prior to that. So he really knows his way around and really is so smart, very energetic, and it's great having these new board members coming in and bringing their perspectives and really pushing things along at a different pace than we were operating before.
And so let's just get to immediate stuff. I mean, it's been a wet winter.
It has.
And so that's probably been confronting you, the weather issues, and we're happy for the rain.
We are happy for the rain, definitely.
What's going on out there?
Yeah, so first, some of the benefits Lake Nacimiento is getting close to full, and in fact, I think they've been doing some releases and from the dam into the river, and there are more storms coming. So that Lake Nacimiento is definitely reaching full capacity. Lake San Antonio is bigger and takes longer to fill, but it's at about a third its capacity, where it was down to really nothing before. And so again, with these storms that are coming and probably rains, in the next few months, we should have a good amount of water in storage, which is important because during the summer, obviously it doesn't rain. This is not an area where we really get a lot of rain over the course of a year. So when we get it, it's great to have the dams to be able to store it and then release it through the summer for irrigation needs and replenishment of the aquifer and to help the fish do what they need to do. So that's been really great. The other thing that happens when it rains, particularly when we get as much in a short time, and then following the fires that we had, there are consequences of mudslides and so on, and also just the amount of water running can undercut the integrity of roads. And so we've got mudslides that are closing roads. We have roads that are disintegrating. So it's creating millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of work for our roads crews and our public works folks.
And it has to be done.
It has to be done
Yeah.
for public safety. We're working on those aspects first, but people need to get around. That's what roads are for, and so people count on those roads to be able to live their lives and get the supplies that they need. And so we really have a lot of work to do to get things in a good working order so that they are safe and usable. And those are $20 to $30 million worth so far of repairs that were not budgeted. So it's going to be quite an impact on our budget this year to figure out how to get everything done.
So local government matters. Local government works hard, and you guys deserve a little respect sometimes that you don't get. Let's talk about power companies.
Sure. Yes, this has been quite a week for us at the Board of Supervisors, with a conversation coming to a head. For about the last 4 years, there has been a lot of work going on to look at the feasibility of creating our own local procurement entity so that we can make available a higher percentage of renewable energy to our local ratepayers. And there was a feasibility study done that showed that if Santa Cruz County, Monterey County, and San Benito counties all banded together, that we would have kind of optimum buying power for this and be able to provide double or more the percentage of renewable energy as currently is being provided by PG&E at the same price or lower. And so that told us that it was a feasible idea, and it's something that when people learn about it, they're very excited because people like the idea of being able to lower greenhouse gas emissions, do our part for the planet, really while living our lives pretty much normally and either having our energy bills be the same or slightly lower. It also provides the opportunity that if people want to use 100% renewable energy, they can pay a bit more per month and achieve that. The other benefit is that there's the opportunity to develop local renewable energy sources by something as relatively simple as putting solar on our rooftops or over parking lots. We're seeing that quite a bit. And generating our own power, creating local jobs, and keeping the money that is being paid by the ratepayers locally to further invest in renewable power in our area. So very exciting. It came to the Board of Supervisors yesterday for us to say whether we wanted to sign on to the Joint Powers Authority Agreement. At the last minute now, a couple of our supervisors are really pushing for Monterey County to have more votes on this Joint Powers Authority, which is, I'm afraid, is kind of throwing a monkey wrench in. So I'm concerned that that effort may mean that Monterey County is not able to join in with everybody else at this point. And so which I think will be a real loss for the people who live in the unincorporated county. Now, individual cities in Monterey County are making their own individual decisions about whether to join this JPA, and I hope they will go ahead and consider this opportunity and really step forward and join the current effort so that we can get this going. And
it sounds very forward thinking.
It's forward thinking and it's very practical.
Yeah.
A few years ago when Marin started this, about 10 years ago, it was kind of out there, but now Marin County, Sonoma, the city of Lancaster, there are a number of jurisdictions that have done this, and they've found that it is financially viable and beneficial almost right off the bat. Within the first year, any debt obligations they had are being paid back, and they are able to invest the excess revenues into the community. So it's really something that I think it's been tested by other people, and I think it's really a good thing for our region. So I hope that it works out, that Monterey County can join in this early phase, but even so, I hope that the cities, I know Marina, Seaside, Soledad, Pacific Grove, Monterey, are all looking at whether they should join, and I would really encourage them to step forward, join the current effort with the governance structure as being proposed. If the people who have joined the Joint Powers Authority are willing to kind of go back and allow for the changes that the county is asking for, that's great. But I would really encourage the cities, if they think it's going to be beneficial for their residents, and I think it is, that they go ahead and sign on to the JPA.
So let's use this format and this table for you to be a recurrent guest, and let's continue this conversation on this issue as it progresses, because I think it's an important issue. The hot button moment issue now is immigration.
Yes.
Where are we with this?
Well, there are two issues around immigration that the Board of Supervisors has undertaken in the last couple of weeks. Last week, in response to the rather quickly put together and ill thought through executive order by the President, we brought a resolution forward saying, hey, we think that when it comes to immigration, it's important to follow the law. One of the problems with the executive order was that it was basically saying, okay, all you people who went through the process of a green card and getting visas and being vetted, you're out. In addition to people who hadn't gone through that process, and I just thought that was really poor planning. So I brought that resolution forward, and it was a unanimous board action to stand for fairness in our immigration policy. This week we talked about the local, and of course that does implicate us. That one was about Muslim countries, the Middle Eastern countries, and of course because we have an international educational a set of institutions on our peninsula, it really affected local people quite a bit, more than you might think, it being such an international issue. And then the one that really strikes probably to the heart of more people in our community even is the whole question of deportations. And so we adopted a resolution yesterday saying that we stand for the safety and respect of all people in our community, and regardless of immigration status, and made it clear that the federal entities have responsibilities to do whatever they're going to do, but the local law enforcement is not an arm, does not do the federal government's work, and that we want to be clear that we want to respect and protect the safety and the rights of the people in our community, because what we know is when people feel safe about their institutions, like their schools, like their health department, like their hospital, like their police and sheriff, they will help us keep the community safer and keep themselves safe. So if they're afraid to come forward and report, things that need to be reported, our communities are, really hurt. And let's be honest, so many of the people that are starting to get demonized for social ills, undocumented immigrants, they have been living here, working hard, helping our local industries, keeping our economy going, and many of them have been here 10, 20 years. They have families. They've really been providing a real benefit to our community. So it's important for us to stand by them in these times.
Yeah, they're not strangers here in our community. They're our
That's
neighbors.
Right. That's right.
And yeah, okay. So let's loop back to where we started with the new board and your plans for the future.
Well, yes, so I've just been reelected to a third term. I've been working over time on transparency and accountability issues, just simple things like making sure that the notice of board meetings, board meeting materials, committees of the board, all those things are available to the public, so it's possible for the public for whom we work to know what we're doing and to participate as they like. Also, we have a very systematic process now for doing performance evaluations of the top executives who report to the board. That was not being done as consistently before I got there, and that's just the beginning of good functioning, I think, of any organization. And I continue to look at the opportunities on Fort Ord, that is in my district, and the opportunities to develop really vibrant, mixed-use, walkable communities with access to the trails. We have, miles and miles and miles of beautiful trails on Fort Ord that are a real draw for our tourists, but also I think as we develop Fort Ord well, we'll see that it's a draw for employers and for the workforce to be doing the kinds of tech and research jobs that are envisioned for that area, with housing close by and the ability to walk or bike to work. So really looking at those opportunities too.
Yeah, we have a really good chance to reinvent ourselves here
and to do world-class development.
Yes, and again, I see us as this small kind of town community with global, with a global identity, and that's such a unique and interesting and fortunate thing. And we're lucky to be here. People are here by choice, and
it's true. It has the sophistication of an urban kind of area, and yet there's a small town feel. There's the friendliness. There's the access. So it's great. And I just wanted to mention another thing that I'm really focused on, have been and will continue to be, is making sure that we're encouraging women to run for office and to be elected. They say that it takes 30% of your leadership positions to be filled by women before you get the diversity of thought that allows us to make the best decision making. So I'm glad that there's another woman on the Board of Supervisors, and I hope to see a lot more in our local elected offices.
Mary Adams is awesome.
Yes.
She's great.
Yes.
You're watching the YourTown television program. I'm with Jane Parker, District 4, and we'll be back later. See you.